Are there any predictions on this timeline? You said like we're at the top of this bell curve now.
Right.
And so what's the time frame of going down this slope?
The most recent sort of predictions by geophysicists, and actually you can look at the numbers from Shell and Exxon, they say that we're at the peak of oil production right now. And within the past month or so, we've seen two very big articles come out from the United States military and the British military saying peak oil is here, it's for real, and within the next 3 to 5 years, we're going to start seeing some oil shortages.
And also, I mean, other than just fuel, we use a lot of petroleum products in our everyday usage, you know, plastics, everything
Sure,
that's plastic
absolutely.
that may have a petroleum base to it. So, I mean, we're so dependent on it that, you know, we're going to be hitting bottom and having to find other resources.
Yeah, we need some new methods to start living the life that we've grown accustomed to.
Now, the second prong is climate change.
Yeah. Climate change, another contentious topic, especially in the past year or so. We've had a lot of sort of feverish debate as to the actuality of what climate change really entails. And one of the ways that I like to define climate change is, you know, it's when you fly over a place like Los Angeles and you see all this brown smoke emitting from places and smog and things like that, that's climate change, you know. We have wonderful organizations like 350.org that talks about sort of carbon particulates in the atmosphere, 350 parts per million, and these are all very cerebral concepts that are hard for us to wrap our brain around. But when we see areas like in the rainforest where we have just clear cutting and species extinction and loss of air quality and things like that, that's climate change right there. It doesn't need to be this cerebral concept that's existing up in the upper atmospheres. It's here on Earth, and it's because of human actions.
What about the debate that people are saying climate change really doesn't exist and this is just a concept that's being generated just to justify certain measures that we might take?
Yeah, it's something that we need to pay attention on and keep doing a lot of research in terms of the different studies and arguments that are coming out. But again, I would just point people to the examples that are right there in front of us. You know, when we talk about bees disappearing and things like that and colony collapse, that's climate change.
Yeah.
That's a part of the natural system that's not there anymore as a direct result of human action.
That's amazing. And the third one, you were talking about economic stability.
Sure. I think all we've had to do is pick up a newspaper in the past year to really realize that things are not built on as solid a ground as we would like to have hoped they were built on. So we start to see people address these issues. And within transition, there are a lot of wonderful examples of communities that are coming together and sort of aggregating their resources so they can mitigate a lot of the effects of this weakened economy. You know, we talk about people that are involved in barter systems and trade systems and skill shares. Local currencies are a big part of the transition movement. An example I can give is in the sort of New England area, the Berkshire, which is a local currency that's been developed there, has over $3 million in local currency that are in circulation. It's been wildly successful.
Wow.
In Michigan, Traverse City, they have Bay Bucks. But these are things that are usable for local communities to come together and sort of take responsibility for their economic security.
That's great. Nathan, we're going to take a quick break right now, and we'll be right back to talk more about Transition Ann Arbor. Please stay tuned. Welcome back to Capital Update with Representative Pam Byrnes. I am Pam Byrnes, and I'm here with Nathan Ayers, and we're talking about Transition Ann Arbor, which is an organization that deals with self-sufficiency and dealing with our environmental concerns, food concerns, and I'll turn it over to you, Nathan, whatever else that you can describe as Transition Ann Arbor.
Sure. So one of the big goals of transition is how we can unleash what's known as this collective genius. If we think about our sort of rise to industrial greatness as a nation, there were immense amounts of creative capital and genius invention involved with that. And one of the tenets of transition is that it's going to take that same amount of genius and ingenuity to make our gradual energy descent down that peak of oil. So one of the things that we really like to focus on in transition is this concept of reskilling. And within reskilling, we start to think about some of the stuff you're talking about when we say self-sufficiency, is how can we take responsibility for our basic needs, our food, our water, our energy, and things like that, but also learn some of the skills that were very prominent in, you know, available to people who grew up in times of less energy, you know.
Right.
We're very lucky that we still have millions of people around us in society that grew up during the Great Depression or in times when we weren't living as high in the hog as we do these days. And those are the kind of people that we want to sort of tap for their skills, you know. Anytime anything breaks these days, like a bicycle, we just kind of throw it away and buy a new one.
Right.
We don't need to live like that.
Conspicuous consumption,
Exactly.
isn't that what it's called?
We can learn the skills in order to manage our lifestyle in a much more ecologically friendly way that are not as devastating to the environment and are actually a lot more fulfilling. And that's another one of the things that I'd like to touch on about transition is, you know, this isn't just any other environmental rah-rah, we need to save the whales type of movement. It's a movement that one of the inevitable byproducts is this closer sense of community. And one of the great things we like to say in transition is how can we make this movement feel more like a party instead of a protest march? So all these aspects of culture like music and art and entertainment, they all have wonderful places in transition. And we try and elevate that and create this environment that is us working together as a community to take responsibility for our needs.
Could you give us some examples of the reskilling events that you've had? And what skills are you reskilling people on?
So over the past year, we've had 2 reskilling festivals. And we actually have the next one coming up this July 17th. That's going to be in Ann Arbor at the Rudolph Steiner High School. The first 2 were just wildly successful, and they get better every time we do it. But when we're talking about reskilling, we're talking about skills like how to make your own butter, how to keep bees, how to keep chickens, how to fix a bicycle, home energy efficiency, how to make your own shampoo. And we tap these local resources that are available to us in Washtenaw County, and it's a day full of free classes. I believe at the last one that we had, there were 30 available classes. They were all filled, and it's full of people, kids, adults, anybody coming together to learn these skills that are going to be vital in a world that has lower energy.
So how many people attended the festivals?
The last one that we had about 4 months ago, there were over 200 people there.
Wow.
And we had, like I said, 30 different presenters. And this next one that's happening July 17th is planned to be even bigger and better. So I would encourage any of our viewers out there, if you have a skill that you feel is worthwhile to share in a low energy future, please contact us at transitionannarbor.org. Or if you just want to get out there and get your hands dirty, so to speak, and learn some of these
or learn it.
Yeah, absolutely. It's open to anybody. It's free all day long. There's always food there. There's arts and music and stuff like that. And it's just a great day for community.
Well, and I think of the training that we're, you know, normally these skills are passed down from generation to generation. And I think our society's changed so much that we don't get that. You know, whether it's like darning a sock, which I know is one of the skills that you've had part of the festival. And, you know, I remember learning that as a Girl Scout, but I've never used it. You know, I remember getting that little wooden ball and putting the sock in there and trying to learn how to darn and you know, fixing a bike. You know, I think being handy is not one of the things that people do these days. They expect somebody else to fix it or don't know how to do it. So I think that's wonderful that you're doing stuff like that. Now, again, that's going to be July 17th. What day of the week is that? Is that a Saturday?
They're usually on a Sunday.
A Sunday?
Saturday or Sunday.
Okay.
I'm not sure off the top of my head. It's at Rudolph Steiner High School in Ann Arbor. It's on Pontiac Trail. And you can find out all the information about it at transitionannarbor.org.
transitionannarbor.org. Great. And that, assume, is your website there.
That's our website for the organization,
So what are the other areas that Transition Ann Arbor is looking into and working on? And how, do you have like a membership, or how do people get involved?
Sure. It's an open door policy. We have this core group of 5 people, which is known as the initiating team. But built into the transition model is after about a year of those people working together and sort of doing the awareness raising and building the bridges to local government and other local organizations, that core group of people begins to sort of peel off into the outer periphery, and we start to funnel in some new folks that take the leadership roles. And that's a great model that's built into it because it fosters social democracy. We don't get huge egos developing of people saying, I've been here for 5 years, I know what transition is, I make all the decisions. We get new people funneled in. So we encourage anybody that's interested in this to contact us through the website. But in particular, some of the things that we're really starting to get fired up about are community building through the different neighborhoods in Ann Arbor, getting communities to come together around community gardens or energy efficiency. We're big fans of home energy audits in transition.